In this game, Davids are defined as people who, throughout their life, have had to overcome adversity, obstacles. It could be the way they started in life. It could be that they didn't have the most solid family situation. Christian Hubicki is what you think of when you think of a David. As a young kid, he was kind of nerdy and bullied, but what was brewing inside was this really smart guy who was going to become one of the leading robotics engineers and researchers in the country. Very smart guy. Underestimate Hubicki, and you'll find yourself being voted out. Gabby is, some would say, a female Cochrane or another version of Aubrey. She's got a nerdy side to her, but the truth is she's really smart. So socially, she's excellent. I think Gabby, especially if she bonds with some Davids, could be a threat. Davy's one of my favorites. He's a really likable guy, has great self-awareness, and I think he's a guy that is actually so likable that he might be the guy that can float through without getting in anybody's way, because he is a guy you kind of want around. Lyrsa talks about the fact that merely coming from Puerto Rico makes her a David. Lyrsa's also smaller. She's gay. She was bullied. She rebelled. I think Lyrsa's going to struggle in the beginning, but if she can fit in and let her guard down, I could see her going deep in the game. Elizabeth was one of my favorites the minute she walked in. I like everything about her. I love that she gave birth in her cowboy hat, that it's that important to her. And she'll say, well, I started working at 11 because I wanted to have a horse. And my parents said, great, then get to work. I don't know many 11-year-olds that are working and earning real money. That's the story of a David. Nick Wilson is a guy that is really complicated. He grew up in rural Kentucky. He took care of his mom until she finally passed away. He went to law school, became a lawyer. He went back, and that's where he is right now. He's a David so much that he's willing to forego the shot at Goliath and come back to help other Davids so that they can have a shot. He's a little quirky. He's really likable. He's got to find a solid alliance. Carl is a second-generation truck driver. He's got 2 girls, married, great life, but what really drew me to Carl was when he walked into the room for Survivor. His attitude, I like my cowboy hat, but I could wear a baseball cap. Sometimes I smoke a cigar, sometimes I ride a horse. You good with that? I think Carl is a real sleeper to win this game because I don't think he's going to get in anybody's face. Pat Cusack is actually the guy that inspired the David versus Goliath idea. He told us his story about growing up with nothing, with a mother who was paralyzed and a dad who wasn't around, and paycheck to paycheck. For me, it was absolutely must be on the show. That's the guy you root for. He deserves a shot. Jessica is a hard-working, smart young woman who I think is going to lie about her age. She doesn't want people to think she's a teenager, even though she is. She's been working since she was young to help her mom out. She doesn't brag about it. She doesn't even talk that much about it. She's already had a lot of experiences when most kids her age are just trying to get through school. And those experiences are related to being a David. B is literally an MMA fighter. So you would think at first glance, she's got to be a Goliath, she's a fighter. But then you talk to her, no. Immigrated from Vietnam, ran away at 14, has had a hard life, and as she describes it, everything about my life has been climbing out of one hole after the other. If there is anybody out here with the spirit that when they're down, they can pick themselves up, it is B. We hope it's a good season where maybe at some point a David puts his foot on the chest of a Goliath and says, I think I just blossomed into a Goliath.